thank you so much for joining us again. This is the second time.
Good to be back. Thank you so much.
Now, for those who missed it, would you tell us what is Unearthed?
Unearthed is an independent documentary project that seeks to better understand fracking and what it could mean for the Karoo region of South Africa by going to the United States, the country where fracking was developed, to really understand what it's like, what those risks and benefits include.
Now, why this topic? And you really got head first into the topic. So why is it so important to you?
Well, I started the whole investigation in 2011, so it's been a long time. And back then it was just a frustration by a lack of real accurate information on the topic. I thought that the debate had spiraled out of control between those for shale gas and those against shale gas. I also grew up in the Karoo, and I was quite interested to know, just on a personal level, how I felt about it. And at that stage I was very optimistic about shale gas and fracking because as a young South African, I'm eager to see development in the Karoo, which is a very poor rural area, as well as real solutions to our energy challenges.
Now, fracking could be quite an academic and scientific exercise, but Unearthed is so much more about people. Talk to us about that.
Of course, definitely. We worked hard to really find that balance between real accurate science that can actually help many researchers and governments across the world, as it's been doing since it's been released. But there's a very real human element to the film, and I think that is the most moving part of the film, is that you're able to meet people from the Karoo desperate for information, and meet people from the United States or Canada eager to tell their story to ensure that their experience isn't repeated. And I think in that sort of combination, there's a real painful nexus between needing development, but development at what cost? Needing energy, but energy at what cost? And I think Unearthed really asks those kind of poignant questions at a time when many governments, including ours, are making these sort of challenging decisions.
Now, you describe your optimism at the idea of new commerce and industry for the Karoo region specifically, but anybody who follows you on social media or knows anything about this documentary will know that your opinion has since changed.
Certainly. I think, one benefit of the fracking discussion, as controversial and as uncomfortable as it is, I think it's really been an eye-opener for many South Africans. I think it's really made us ask ourselves, how much energy are we consuming on a daily basis? What are we doing to further development in our own capacity as South Africans? I think that's the real gem about the fracking discussion, is that it's actually, it's been a huge wake-up call for us to confront those uncomfortable realities and know that we all need to be a part of the solutions going forward. But after having been to the United States and having seen what's actually happening on the other side, community after community with water contamination and severe air pollution, independent science and journalists being held back by huge corporate money that's sort of protecting certain cases of contamination through non-disclosure agreements. Essentially, if any family is impacted by the gas drilling activities, they're forced into a non-disclosure agreement, which forever hides that case and that data from you and I, from researchers and from governments across the world. So I think my experience really going to the United States and really spending time on ground zero, if you wish, really changed my opinion. And I think it also, it's an uncomfortable conversation because we do need energy, we do need development. But I think that, at this point in 2014, we really can look at the other options on the table and really ask ourselves honestly about the direction that we're moving in.
Now, you spoke at the recent TEDx Cape Town Women event, and you spoke about the process of creating this documentary. For you, it was a lot more than an academic exercise. It was very personal, speaking to these families. So would you share some of those experiences with us?
Of course, at the TEDx event, I spoke about trusting your authenticity as a creative. And that was very challenging for me making Unearthed, because I'm a journalist, but in my heart, I was really just wanted to stick to the information and stick to sort of accurate visual material that would help us and help the South African debate around this sort of unknown issue, really. And then, more and more as we worked with the film and as we entered post-production and certainly with the help of the producers, the conversation, it became very real that the story is actually about me as well, about my experience, and we had to include my story into the film as well. And I think for any creative person, that's a really scary place to find yourself in, when you actually have to tell the story as well, when you actually have to expose yourself as well and share your own personal experiences. And I think that's actually helped with Unearthed. I think it's a very accessible story for that reason. I think it's a very honest portrayal of what's happening in South Africa and what's happening in the United States and the decisions around those experiences.